Hey guys, welcome back to our channel,
Plots with a Twist,
where we discuss books
amongst other things.
And we are jumping on, the social media trend, where they like, she's a 10 but, she's a 10 but. So that's what we're doing today, doing she's a 10 but. But yeah, with books. So we're going to talk about basically 4-star reads for us, books that could have been there, could have been that 5-star for us, but something about it wasn't quite there. Didn't take us. So let's get into it. Okay, so you want to start?
Okay, I'll start.
Okay.
First on my list this is going to be controversial, but it's going to be controversial to Kristen. So it's Transcendent Kingdom by Giassi. Is that how you say it? Okay, so y'all know, if y'all been watching for a long time, y'all know it took me forever to even read this book. And when I did read it, I did enjoy it. I think I read it last year. I did enjoy it. I remember enjoying the story. I just felt like it was so heavy and sad at times, I think, that I just was like, I think at the place I was in my life, I just couldn't enjoy it fully. But I remember enjoying it. It just didn't take me like, oh my God, like I just love this book, I gotta recommend it to everybody. And that's usually my criteria for like 5 stars sometimes. What? Okay. For the most part.
I mean, I probably wouldn't recommend it to everybody because it is a heavy book.
But it's still a solid read, but
it's a good read. Okay. I still gave it 5. But okay. So, boom. I got a controversial one. So, I just talked about this in our wrap-up. It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. So, she would be
I'm not mad at that, though. I'm not mad at that.
The hype already...
It was the hype, I think.
It already ruined it
for
for me. But why it's not a 5, I kind of mentioned it in our wrap-up. It just wasn't as emotionally stirring as I would have liked it to be. I don't know why I said it like that, but would have liked it to be. Like, there was moments that I felt like I was just reading a story. I wasn't really pulled in, drawn in the way that I expected to be. Like, even the love aspect, I was like, okay, cute. Yeah. Even the drama, I was like, oh, turn the page. Oh man, that happened. So I just wanted to be, it didn't take me there to the level of, oh my God, oh, what's going, ooh, yay, gush. Like, it just didn't take me to that emotional peak or that emotional low that I would like out of my 5-star reads. So yeah, it was a 4 for me. It's a 4 for me.
Okay, so another one on my list that I don't think it's controversial, but in general, I think we like this author. And that's, these are books we still liked. But this is White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson.
Oh, okay.
And I enjoyed the read. I liked the different elements of the story. It was dealing like with mental health, and then had like kind of like a horror aspect to it as well. But I don't know, something about it. I think the way it ended and like how we kind of got to the completion of the story when they actually like found who they was looking for, I forget, but something about it just is like a little weird to me, and weird like in a like horror film, like just like, I don't know, I just didn't like that part, I think, if that makes sense. Well, I'm not even giving like what the story is actually about, which y'all should know by now. So,
wow, I don't think that was one of her popular ones.
White Smoke, y'all know White Smoke.
She moved into a house.
Yeah,
and her mom got it for free,
and it was almost like a haunted house, basically. Yeah. And she was living.
I just remember what happened.
Like, it was weird, right? So I think that's why I didn't like. But I liked her writing is good, the storytelling is good, but it was like the horror. Yeah, it says the house on Haunted Hill meets Get Out. Psychological thriller. And I could have kept the psychological part. I think just like the
paranormal
and
part.
Just like having like the racial commentary in it, along with like the stuff she's going through mental health. That would have made the book like, but I guess she was going in a different direction, different genre, I guess so. But yeah, I still gave it 4 stars, so it was still good, but I just think that part of the book just didn't do it for me.
Okay. All right. So next for me, let's see. I mean, these are 4 stars are still good. So I'm like, we gonna make people
I know.
mad, but we're not, because 4 stars are still good.
It is.
For me, I guess another kind of controversial one, but I did enjoy this book. I really did. She's a 10. But something I didn't like the ending. I wanted a different type of ending, and that's Nightcrawling by Layla Motley. I liked the book.
I gave it 5 stars.
I liked it. I liked the story. I liked the writing. I liked a lot of things about it.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted a different ending. So for that, I could not give it a 5 because I was not satisfied. I can't give something a 5 if I'm not satisfied.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
So, but overall, it was a great book. I would still highly recommend, but just be aware. You might be like, she's a 10, but yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to look at the other. Okay, so next on my list is she's a 10, but I just didn't do it by the way. The Paris Library by Janet Skeslin Charles. And I talked about this book not too long ago, probably like a few months back. And it took me a while to get through this book. It's basically about the American library in Paris, like during World War. Was that 2? I'm not good with history in detail. Yeah, World War II, and that whole thing, and the people, the librarians that like saved the library during that time, and kind of based like on some true events. It was a great book. It interests me, and I didn't think I would be so interested in like. I mean, I did think I'd be interested, but once I started reading it and I figured out like really what it was about, it kind of got boring and it dragged a little, but then it kind of got interesting and got better, and then it got drawn out again, and then had all these side stories about different characters, and I was just like, okay, get me to the point. But I feel like it was one of those, it's good, but it's you have to be committed and you have to want to stay with the story. So it is good. If you can make it through, you'll probably love it. But that's why I gave it 4 stars, because it kind of was a drag to get through, but overall it was a good story. So
okay, on a similar vein, she's a 10, but she was too long. I don't do historical fictions, but I do. So, but
you want to, but then you just never.
You know
really
what? Do I want to though? I don't know. But that is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I really enjoyed that book. I did. I was thoroughly surprised. I thought I would hate it because, like I said in a wrap up when I discussed the book, that book is what I think of when I think of historical fiction, because yes, it's rooted in a time during World War II. Yes, it's focusing on these 2 sisters. Yes, it's going into their lives as they're dealing with this. But it was a lot of history in there that I was like, come on. Like, I know they're in wartime. It related to the story, but let's get to what's going on with them. Let's catch up with them. Let's catch up with the girls. So, and it was just, like I said, too long, entirely too long. I wouldn't say it dragged. I was very much invested all the way through, but I guess that with it being a little longer, of course, it had some moments that you can deem unnecessary. But yeah, I didn't realize where the book was going for a while until it got there, and I was like, okay, cool, we landed here. But yeah, it was just too long. Just too long. But otherwise, she's a 10.
All right, so next on my list, I'm gonna say Beach Read by Emily Henry. I enjoyed the book. That's another one we read kind of recently, and it was cute. I just feel like, and I gave it 4 stars at the time, so it's not like I'm changing it. But I feel like I've read so much more cuter romance since then, because I've read a lot of romance. I'm like, yeah, that it was a good book. I did enjoy the story. I like the back and forth with the 2 main characters. But it wasn't, I don't know, their romance to me, and maybe it's because she had something else sad going on, their romance to me didn't give me like, it didn't give you life. I like passionate, toxic love, I think, a little bit.
Oh my
Not
God.
even toxic, but I like passionate, like when I'm reading a story. I like those like,
They had those moments.
They kind of did, but it wasn't, I don't know. I think
I mean, I feel like I gave it a 5. I think I gave it a 4 too.
For real. It was,
But that's not why.
But it was cute though. I did like the story, and I did enjoy the romance, and I did enjoy the writing. It's just, I don't know. I don't think it just had that, oh, so cute. Like,
I think so that's probably why I gave it, the plot wasn't quite there, but the writing took you there. And that's why I was like, this is a good book. Is good. She's a good writer. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let me see, because I have a whole list.
Oh, God.
But let me see.
Yeah, I had to like look through.
She's a 10, but she didn't arrive at a good point. The way she ended wasn't the way she began. The story felt rushed after a certain part, but it was just really all overall cool. And that's The People We Keep by Allison Larkin. So I don't think I've talked about this book since a wrap up, but that one was a really kind of nicely well written book. Just about a girl just on her life's journey. She's banned by both parents, and she goes on to start performing at no, she doesn't. She goes on to just define her life in her own terms, but come across people that, you know, kind of impact her positively. So the thing that it was lacking for me is that, like I said, it started to get to a certain point where the story was presented as, oh, she meets people, she has this odd reason that comes up and she has to run, and then she goes away. So I think because you spent so much time and she spent so much time in one place, other things and other elements in the story started to become rushed, because it seemed like, okay, we're getting towards the end, but I got to move this story along. And you felt that as you was reading it. She didn't have as much development later in the story as she did at the beginning of the story. So overall, I just couldn't give it a 5, even though I saw a lot of positive comments about it around the time I read it. But yeah, it was a little rushed. That one could have been a little bit longer, or cut down the time in the beginning, or something a little bit different, maybe structured a little bit differently. It would have been a little bit more successful. But
I didn't read that.
I know you didn't, because that's when I was reading the books. That's when I was reading all the books.
Okay, so last one for me, and I'm gonna mention
it's hard.
I'm gonna say, only because I'm like, oh, which one for real? But I think it's gonna be Tell Me an Ending by, what's it, Joe Harkin? Something like that. And that book was also another one that was, well, not hard to get through, like, and it dragged in a sense, but just, it was good. I liked each, like, story, each character's story, but I think there were certain ones that I'm just like, I don't like how that happened there for that character, or I don't like how this, and not that it didn't make sense, I don't know, I just wanted it to go in a different direction. So yeah, I enjoyed the book, I enjoyed the story, I enjoyed the writing. Maybe, I don't know, now I'm thinking back when I was listening to it, it did drag just a little bit, but not as bad as the Paris Library, but yeah, it did drag, but it was overall good. I feel like it was kind of worth the wait, but I don't know. But I enjoyed it for the most part.
I gave it a 3.
I know, I felt like I gave it a 4, so.
All right, well, last one for me. Let's see. I have a few, but what's the one?
Honorable mentions, but
what's the one? I'll say The Maid by Nitra. I keep doing that with her name, Nita Prose. I keep putting the R in her first name instead of in her last name. So The Maid, I read that earlier this year. And she's a 10. She's good. She would have been 5-star because the story itself was very interesting about a woman who has some type of undiagnosed social disorder, and she thinks things are one way, of course, but they're actually another way, and she works her dream job as a maid at a hotel and inadvertently gets pulled into this murder investigation and suspected of murder. So I thought that was very interesting. It had a really interesting plot, really interesting storytelling. The language was just repetitive. The book was a little too long. It was just little things that if she just did maybe one more run through, did a little bit more editing, it could have been a lot more successful, because I think the story was there. It was just some things unnecessary, some repetitive jokes, it was just a lot of repetition. That if she just kind of went through, she would have said, oh, I mentioned something like that before. Let me do this a little different. And like I said, making it a little bit shorter, because once the overall climax was resolved, it was like, where's this gonna go? Like, what more do you have to talk about? Apparently some more, but it was cool. It could have been a 5. All right, let us know some books that, you know, could have been that book for you, but something didn't give for you. Isn't that what the girl said? It didn't give what it was supposed to give. So like this video, subscribe, ring the bell, and we'll be back next time. Bye.